emotional and chilling moments right there, as tonight, for the first time, we are hearing hours of 911 calls, giving us a better idea of the chaotic night as fire swept through the Santiam Canyon. The fast-moving flames would end up taking the lives of 5 people, all before firefighters managed to take control of the flames. Our Jenny Young listened in on those phone calls and pieces those moments together for us tonight. Jenny?
Well, Elizabeth, I think one of the most powerful things about that night is the dispatchers. Not only are they inundated with those calls, they are tasked with having to keep people calm while they still have to keep up with that fire in order to tell firefighters where it's spreading, and it's spreading by the second.
It's starting to threaten the house. My barn's on fire. There's still nobody here.
Oh, they're spread out everywhere, so we're going to try to get somebody over to you, okay?
911 calls flooding into Marion and Lynn County dispatchers.
I have fires everywhere, and everyone's spread out thin. I don't know how soon I can get somebody out here, so if you feel like you need to evacuate, you need to do that to stay safe, okay?
Call after call.
911, and what city is your emergency?
As hurricane-force winds swept out of eastern Washington and Oregon and into Santiam Canyon, creating a deadly firestorm.
Your firefighters at the schooling gates and the fire department are in trouble. There's flames everywhere. The flames jumped all the way to our house. Those poor firefighters, they are stuck over there.
It was turning into a Labor Day people in Western Oregon will never forget.
Just help those firefighters, please. There's so many of them down there.
So you're wanting the firefighters to know that the 2 houses behind the cemetery
are cleared. Nobody's in them.
Are vacant. Okay, perfect.
But the house across the street, I forgot about. I don't know if they know. Oh my God, I didn't think about going to waking them up.
Do you have their phone number?
No, I don't know their names. Oh
Okay.
my God.
As the clock ticked and night turned into day, nearly 100,000 acres burned, hundreds of homes were destroyed, and livestock dead.
God, let that be a firefighter.
Okay, and then
It's 100 yards from my house.
it's 100 yards from your house?
Yep, it's down in the field where the cows are at.
Okay, give me just a moment.
Oh God, let that be a fire truck. God, let that be a fire truck. It's in our cow pasture, yep. Get the gate, Jim, get the gate.
Is your driveway the best access route?
Flaring up. Flaring up.
It's flaring up.
Yep.
Udah ketabrak mobil, udah deh, kedorong. Mundur. Mundur. Aise, tuko baharini kama ifuatavyo. Huruma sana, Prado sijui la nani ile haki ya Mungu. Haki ya Mungu. Jesus Christ. Hivi Tanzania yetu iko wapi?
Sasa hivi alafu unajua hivi? Nimekuja sasa hivi.
Wangeirudisha ipate balance.
Jamaa hajakata tairi, atakuwa nyosha.
apocalypse, end of the world, you know? That's what it feels like.
It changed fast. It went from a fire that was a long way away, all of a sudden you're in the middle of it.
Wildfires continue to burn out west, destroying communities in several states and forcing mandatory evacuations. In Colorado, the Cameron Peak Fire is now the largest fire ever recorded in the state. It's burned more than 160,000 acres of land over the last 2 months. Thousands of firefighters there in California, meanwhile, battling roughly 24 fires across the state. Health officials say the massive amount of fires are producing thick clouds of smoke and ash, also causing pollution levels that are rising and air quality to drop.
It's wild. It's hard to breathe, see. It's just nasty.
During the peak of the smoke, we saw 1 in 10 people walking into our emergency departments and urgent care centers complaining of asthma-like symptoms.
Insanely high temperatures causing authorities to issue red flag warnings, alerts that weather conditions could cause more fires to start. Medical professionals say millions of people on the West Coast are breathing in this hazardous air. They predict more than 1,000 people could die from complications caused by the smoke.
有没有人员受伤？没得，人出来了。有没有人员受伤？没有。
你干啥呢？你今天这上班咋就迟到了呢？
堵车了。
咱村就一条道，常年8辈子看不到人，请问是谁堵的你？二氧化碳呐？
起晚了。
那就说起晚了呗。
20多下，
哦哟，说舌頭，把車子弄來帶路，好黑呢，這北大條，快跑！
那个山從那本上，從那上面垮下來的，那裡面的人帶的。
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
Update on Oregon's wildfires. Just about 5 weeks ago, we were under thick black smoke and dozens of fires burning out of control all across our state. But now that we're transitioning into more of a rainy season, fire season is quickly winding down. That's according to the Northwest Interagency Coordination Center. Joe Ranieri has more on our historic fire season.
There's nowhere here that doesn't have fire.
Fire season in the Northwest this year was historic, to say the least.
We burned a record number of acres for the Pacific Northwest in fire season 2020. Most of that coming with the big push of winds at the end of the Labor Day weekend.
In Oregon alone, more than 1 million acres burned this year, and hundreds of homes burned to the ground. John Sultenberger is the Fire Weather Program Manager with the Northwest Interagency Coordination Center. He said we were dealing with a quiet fire season until Labor Day weekend.
What really drove the event was the strength and the suddenness of the winds that came on. And I confess, I was surprised by how strong it got.
A combination of dry fuels, warm weather, and high winds spread the fires.
My heart sank on Monday afternoon on Labor Day when the winds got so strong that the trees at my home were bending over and branches were breaking off, and then the sky filled with smoke.
Over a month later,
for all practical purposes, the fire season is over with for the Pacific Northwest.
Well, we might be wrapping up our wildfire season here in Oregon. It's a different story in California.
California remains dry. I see no rain in sight for them. They've been under a lot of offshore flow events, easterly wind events, similar to what we had here in the Pacific Northwest. And so that just keeps conditions dry down there.
And looking into the later part of this year, it doesn't appear Mother Nature is going to be kind to a state that has already seen its own historic fire season.
The oceanic cycle is already in a La Nina. And when La Ninas occur, typically Southern California remains dry, the Southern Plains, the Southern Rockies.
श्रीमंत दगडूशेठ हलवाई गणपती मंदिरासमोरील पाणी पावसाचा जोर हे रामभाऊ मरगळे आमचे
कपड़े धो रहे नीचे पानी नहा रहे रे मालूम हो जाता हूँ कुत्ता पानी आने वाला ये बनेगा राजू भाई पूरा एक डिपार्टमेंट काम करते रहता उसके ऊपर
వాళ్ళు కూడా పిల్లలు మునిగిపోయింది ఎక్కడ ఉంటారు బుజ్జి మేడం ఎద్దలు చిన్నగా ఉన్నారు మన కారు గట్టిగా వేసి
Cari jadi banjir. Itu berhenti tuh mobil tuh. Mobil dari tadi di tengah-tengah mogok noh. Tapi nggak kesetek di situ mobil itu diapain noh?
Ya. Oh naik trotoar kali Bang, yang satu. Orang di tengah trotoar. Duh. Má thấy nó vậy ghê trời. Má tôi mới chạy xe vô luôn á. Không có đẩy bánh chạnh rồi. Không có đẩy bánh chạnh rồi. Đó, đang cùng chạy kìa.
Gì đâu, quẹo nè.
Now, Kirsten, the state doesn't know the reason for the denial, but in the past, President Trump has threatened to withhold wildfire help from California, saying the state simply just doesn't do enough to manage its forests. Governor Newsom didn't ask for a specific amount of money because it's simply too early to know the exact costs of damage. He estimated $200 million from the Creek Fire alone that burned near the Central Valley. The rejection comes despite the fact that the federal government controls 57% of California's forests and could leave the states struggling to deal with the costs of damage, cleanup, and rebuilding for the worst fire season in its history. Just last month, during his visit to Sacramento, the president downplayed climate change and told officials that forest management is to blame.
If we ignore that science and sort of put our head in the sand and think it's all about vegetation management, we're not going to succeed together protecting Californians.
Okay, it'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Hey, well, I don't think science knows, actually.
Earlier this week, the president did increase the amount of money available to the state for the fires sparked by lightning strikes back in August, saying the federal government will now pick up all of the cost of debris removal. California officials say they will appeal that decision and hope FEMA will approve it. Now, this morning, we're also learning from the governor's office that Governor Newsom will submit or ask for another disaster declaration for the Glass Fire in Sonoma County and the Zog Fire in Shasta County.